Welcome back to Block TV. It's time for Pump or Dump, my favorite time of the week, where we look at the dominant news narratives of the week and see if we agree or disagree with the agenda, whether we pump it or dump it in favor of another. And to do that today, I'm joined by Block TV's crack team of reporters, starting with the lady in the room, of course, Oran Spitzer, tech maven. Next up, we have Zaki Hennessy, our culture cretin. Financial guru Asher Westrop Evans, and of course, back from assignment abroad, we've got our crime correspondent, Yona Hochhauser. Thank you all for being here. Each one of you is going to have a minute to break down your argument, make a case, what story we should be pumping and what we should be dumping. And we're going to start with Asher. You're first on the clock. Your minute starts now.
Okay, Ron, so kicking off this week, I think what we need to dump is the SEC and the Block 1 dispute that got resolved. There was, they had a case against them. They settled out of court for $24 million. All right, it's fine. It was a solid story, but it's done. Let's dump it.
Get it out of here.
On.
In favor of.
What we need to pump is the fact that Kik is effectively cannibalizing itself, shutting down its messenger app after 9 years. A 300 million strong messaging app. We closed October 19th, and it is destroying itself slowly, it seems, from the outside because of its, in part because of its ongoing legal action that it's taking with the SEC. The defend crypto approach, the intense litigation and response, aggressive response that they've been putting out. It's cost them so far over $5 million. Their legal fees only going up. If Block 1 can get away with raising $4 billion and only having to pay out $24 million, that's just over 0.5%. I think Kik needs to get their priorities in order and stop wasting everyone's time.
Right on the buzzer, so to speak. Guys, our panel, esteemed reporters, what do you think, Block 1 or Kik?
Well, I need to leave this with a question. Are we saying that we shouldn't talk about Kik, or we should tell Kik to get over themselves? Like,
No,
seriously.
what I'm saying is we need to move on from the fact that the SEC and Block 1, that's done, that's happened, let's move on. What Kik we need to be doing is looking at this company slowly destroring themselves in this defending fund. I'm not saying we need to tell them to get over it. They're crazy. There's so much to this story.
Why do you think they are doing this? Do they have a reason? Do you think that they just want to self-explode? Or
no, I think they decided they just set up the Defend Crypto Fund. They wanted to create the precedent for the market and for the industry and get all this rah-rah battle. But you don't fight. The SEC doesn't like being pushed against. They also
talked like a huge game, right? Yeah, they publicly talked a huge game.
They shamed the SEC, and now they're getting their comeuppance.
But now it's kind of like, what are we going to do from here? Like we talked it up, and absolutely.
But literally, what are they going to do? I mean, the Kin token, it's a utility token for messaging services, and now they're not using the messaging service anymore. What is it?
But they'll argue it's still a utility release. It's not a security.
They will fight this out until they martyr themselves completely, and then that's what they will be. They will be the martyrs who fought the SEC but died.
A great slow train wreck that we can all sit and watch, and that's what we should be enjoying. Sit and watching the flames just road basting away.
I concur.
It's a memorial token. Not a utility token. It's a memorial token.
You should coin that phrase.
That's a good one. All right, next on the clock. You've got a minute, Zaki Hennessy, to make the argument about John McAfee.
That's right. Listen, I'm well prepared today. So first of all, what we gotta dump is that Donald McAfee is a psychopath. He's a sociopath. We all know it. It's all internalized. So at this point, we can stop focusing on it so intensely. Right? We can say, let that stand. We get it. He killed some people probably, and he likes his dogs too much. Like, that's fine.
Libel is a thing, Zach.
What we should pump instead of that.
You're not suggesting to stop.
No, don't stop talking about McAfee, but just, we get it. He's nuts. So what we should talk about instead is that he's planning to launch a crypto exchange, a decentralized crypto exchange, and he tweeted about it several times.
Yes, but, he pulled a Justin Tron on us.
That's right. He tweeted out a video wherein he explained. Well, first of all, he starts with this whole, his fucking manifesto, as he always does. Yeah. But he also explains a bunch of other stuff, and let's take a look at his reasoning here.
Decentralized exchanges are a weak point. Decentralized exchanges are our escape. A decentralized and a distributed exchange can't be shut down by anyone. Decentralized meaning that nobody controls it. Distributed meaning it is everywhere and therefore impossible to stop. Now, we've had privacy coins, that's the other part of this equation, because privacy coins with decentralized distributed exchanges is the goose that laid the golden egg for us. We ought to use it though. People come up with distributed exchanges and there are no people there and they're useless. You have to have courage and you have to have faith and you have to stick the course. The McAfee Dex is coming out on Monday. Play with it. Don't expect miracles at first. Play with it until it becomes real. Thank you.
All right, Zaki, your time's over, but let's open this up. Does this video that we just saw, does that strengthen Zaki's point that we should stop talking about the fact that McAfee is strange, or the other way around? What do you think?
Look, the one question I'm going to ask is, with the decentralized exchange, where does he put his ego in this? Like, where's the spot for the McAfee ego? Because that's got a
called named after himself.
I guess so. He's got the naming rights.
And also he did it.
He does
so
love
it's good
naming
enough.
things.
I really do appreciate people who speak by saying a word and then just providing the definitions. For
Yeah.
Decentralized, that means. And then,
There is no center.
Yeah, actually, Dex. I mean, I guess he needed multiple decks because he's going to eat his own singular dick, and so he needs McAfee Dex. And he said, play with it. And it makes
No,
it
I
real.
like that the highlight of this video for me is where he's put a lot into this. He's super excited about launching it, and he's like, this is gonna solve like a lot of the problems that we have with the crypto community. Play with it. Listen, don't expect miracles, but play with it. Then it'll get good. But for now, come on. It's like very much it's a
All right,
lack of
so
commitment.
let's open this up. Does the world need another decentralized exchange and one that is run by John McAfee?
Is
Well,
any
it's-
decentralized exchange
It shouldn't be run by
something?
anyone, established by. But I mean,
Right.
like, there are plenty of decentralized exchanges out there that aren't getting enough volume to be really functional anyway. Is another one really going to solve the issue? Particularly one that, as my esteemed colleague said, needs to be played with.
Right, but I think that's like his point, right? Is that this is a true decentralized exchange. We haven't yet seen that. We should have seen it, and here you go. I'm giving you this actual decentralized exchange.
Deal with the decks, baby. All right.
Thank you,
Oh,
Zaki.
Zaki.
All right, we've got another minute starting the clock right now with Oran.
Yeah, so last week the big news is that XRP is apparently rebranding, right?
Yes.
They've apparently changed their site. They're no longer listing XRapid, XCurrent, XVIA. All of their X's are no longer written there. What the assumption is that eventually there will be some news of a rebrand.
Right.
Is what we're thinking. We don't really know. They haven't come out and said very much. Now, last week, Rachel McIntosh, finance magnates Rachel McIntosh, had a great analysis on the great delisting, she called it, which I think is showing us where we are, the state of the crypto industry as a whole and the crypto state, because we weren't as eloquent with what projects were chosen to be on exchanges, and the fact that we've made this shift, so we don't need to think about things like XRP potentially rebranding when we don't know what they're doing. But the fact that we've made it so far, a prime example she uses is BSV, right? Bitcoin SV. We didn't know what to do with that ethically with Craig Wright and everything, but now most exchanges have delisted. We've
All right,
made
your time is up, Oran.
progress, period.
But the argument you managed to make, what do you guys think? Are we paying too much attention to specific projects rather than industry-wide issues?
Yeah, I'm against delisting when it comes to cryptocurrencies. I believe, and I think there's room for delisting, obviously, but I think that cryptocurrency is one of the great promises is the decentralization of it, is the idea that no one really controls it, and it's a power to the people. And once you start delisting, even for valid reasons like Craig Wright, it does listen, each his own. It does open the door. Then where does it end? Because now once you give people the power to delist, then all of a sudden the power is in certain people's hands and blocking off the power to
Right, but that doesn't take into account people's natural human error and people's natural tendency towards greed. And what's happening is that we're in this decentralized community and we're trying to live by particular ideals, and that's the whole basis for this industry. That's actually not. That's not the reality. We're actually pretty centralized and.
Well, I mean, it begins from the other side when these exchanges take on pairings. it's then their right
giving them more
to
power.
unpair them or depair them or whatever. Whatever.
Right. I mean,
verb
at
you're using.
the end of the day, the exchanges have, for better or worse, become a bottleneck of the industry, and most liquidity is funneled through these exchanges that at some point or another have to make a decision when it comes to listing. And so many different exchanges have taken different approaches, whether they're listing a small number
At
of
the
coins,
very least,
a
there
larger
are
number of coins.
standards.
Right.
At the very least, we've developed a set of standards. People won't list BSV again if they've removed them for ethical reasons.
Trash coins like Doge.
You touched that topic just as the time was ending. Zaki, no time to respond.
Oh, just you.
Maybe
wait.
that was the goal.
All right, and last one for round one of Pump or Dump. Got Yona. What do you got for us? Starting the clock now.
Right. So big news supposedly is that PayPal has quit or dropped out of the Libra Association.
Right.
Which, a couple things. One, has there really anyone really committed to the Libra Association?
Fair enough.
They've signed a non-binding agreement.
Exactly. So everyone pink is swear to be part of the association. So the fact that's news they're dropping out is one thing. Another thing, the PayPal did say that while they are not dropping out of the association, they will look to continue working in some capacity with Libra going forwards. My favorite part of that story, actually, side point, was that Libra did respond by saying, yeah, well, we actually had 15,000 entities who were interested in joining, kind of like, playing the, oh, we don't need you guys.
Yona, you got 20 seconds left
Good
to
luck
make
with-
your case for...
Don't you worry. The real story, and what Libra should be worried about, is that the G20 finance ministers of EU are talking big regulation against Libra. That's what they should be fearing. Not losing PayPal. Facebook's powerful enough by itself. They cannot beat regulators if regulators are against it. That's what they should fear.
Oof, strong arguments there. Let's hear your counters.
I mean, as I see them, these two facts play into each other. I mean, I agree with you that PayPal saying they're out of a club they were never really committed to is sort of like a non-starter for news. But at the same time, I think there's so much narrative being built with this that when it comes to the way regulators are going to be able to respond, there'll be a lot of like public sentiment sort of element that goes into it. Public is really against Facebook having more power and more control over data right now. So in that sense, I agree, but like PayPal pulling out, like that was the legitimacy that Facebook had. It's not just us, it's all these entities, look, all these brands you know and love. But now it's just like that's one less like notch on the belt.
I'm not talking about Libra and PayPal pulling out anymore today. Go,
PayPal,
Zaki.
I think. First of all, I don't think that they're that fucking cool in regards to public sentiment. I don't think anybody's. I don't think anybody's sitting there
Venmo.
like PayPal.
By the way,
Oh,
Venmo is PayPal. Is owned by PayPal. Venmo is
It's still part
right
of the
now. Venmo is the
association.
way you send money to Facebook. If you're in America, Venmo is the electronic way you send money. Not cryptocurrencies, not Libra, not nothing. It's Venmo.
Excuse
All
me,
right,
there was a bell, please.
there was a bell. The time is
How
up.
dare you.
But we're not going to stray too far from Libra as we start round two of Pump or Dump. Asher, you have 60 seconds to for your next story or your next Pump and Dump. Take it away.
All right, I am going to stray far from Libra, Ron,
All
contrary
right.
to your claim, because I think Libra needs to be dumped. We need to stop talking about the Libra launch, what's happening with Libra, the latest with Libra. What we instead need to be talking about, and if you watch BLOCKTV's latest segments of it, you'll see plenty of, is Telegram and the Telegram Open Network.
So much closer to
So much closer, so much
hot
more
right now.
tangible,
We hope.
so real. I mean, this is actually happening, everyone. Like, at the end of this month, by October 31st, they have a contracted deadline that they need to be launched. They've been sending out emails to their early investors stating that they will have wallets set up as of October 16. There are ongoing real deadlines, roadmaps being put out, and this is something that's happening, it's tangible. Libra is a far-flung notion of the future of maybe might happen if regulators agree. Telegram's going to happen now because regulators have not noticed, and no one's paying attention. And even the articles that come out where they ask the regulators, are you paying attention? They say, no, we're not paying attention, and we don't have the capacity to be thinking about this because we're focused on Libra. This is skating under
Time
the radar.
is up.
You got my point.
Yes, you did. You absolutely did get your.
No, you made your argument very clearly, but I have to play devil's advocate here. With all due respect, Telegram, 300 and something million users, Facebook with 6 times that much, if not more. Who has the biggest impact and which launch is going to make the more waves? What do you guys think?
I mean, no launch makes waves unless it launches, right? So you gotta give Ton the credit in that respect.
Was that
because-
Yoda?
We have like 2 weeks left, guys. We're acting like it's out and about. They could just cough up some cash. We don't know what's going to end up happening. But if they end up doing it and launching, I promise you Libra will be tossed out of the window for at least a week.
It's that new cycle monopolized.
Yeah, we'll get at least a full week of just
good
Telegram.
shit. And then you could like buy drugs good.
But also, as well,
That's how it
let's
works.
realistically, I mean, this is going to be a multi-year process. This is not just a launch and we're done. Like, they have the waves of releases that they're doing. They have the infrastructure and ecosystem they're going to be building on app and on chain. Like, there is so much more to talk about this. This is an ongoing story we should definitely be talking about, because although your point is correct, Ron, it's an order of magnitude smaller in terms of uses right now. The fact that it's real, I think, makes it so much more tangible.
Also interesting, as an investment vehicle, I mean, this is something
Right.
it's not a stable coin.
It's no goddamn stable coin. There's some speculative money to be mined.
And we expect some people to be doing just that, and probably as many as can get their hands on it. All right, next. That was the clock.
I'm pretty sure that fruitful discussion was going to continue.
All right. The control room is calling the shots right now. Zaki, you're up next. You've got a minute. Go.
Yeah, you heard of Michelle Phan? She used to be this big old deal making the makeup tutorials on the YouTube, and then she just built a whole empire, makeup and sponsorships and all that stuff. She's a big fan, big proponent of Bitcoin. And she
Apparently
talks about it in
so.
her podcast. She's talking about it all the time. You got a tweet from her here where she's like, "Oh, this filter's cute, but I high-key wish it was the Bitcoin B." It's like, all right, that's cool. Now listen, she's doing really important stuff, and she's bringing Bitcoin attention to the mainstream masses and to a lot of women, which is important. But fuck it, we got to talk about how Doge is dying.
Aw.
No one's talking about Doge anymore, dude.
So true.
There's no Doge memes. Nobody's talking about, there's no headlines related to Doge. There's no progress related to Doge. Doge has been sitting at 1/20th of a cent per Doge for like weeks now. And I'm sick of it, man. We gotta give this little Shiba Inu the fucking CPR treatment. Otherwise, it's gonna go the way of the dodo.
And
That's no good. I'll talk for another 2 seconds.
Go for it.
that's our time. All right, esteemed panel, Doge versus Michelle Phan.
Have you never heard "Don't kick a dead dog while it's down"?
Dead dog.
But do kick a dead meme, because when a meme dies and a coin goes with it, I made my views on Doge abundantly clear, but I don't need this trash coin in my life.
You're a garbage man.
just
Let's not make this
jealous.
personal. Michelle Phan, though, guys.
How many followers? How many followers she got on
No,
Instagram?
you have to
Billions.
understand. Yeah, Michelle Phan is really popular. She was like the
800,000 Twitter
first
followers.
of the wave of beauty gurus.
Yeah, dude.
And is this
She's
Bitcoin
rich.
fanhood recent, or she's always been a Bitcoin gal?
I just know
recent.
of her, guys.
Relatively
Zaki.
recently. Listen, I'm not a fond girl.
Clearly.
But no, but she's big into it. She talks about it a lot. She tweets about it a lot. She's retweeting the Winklevoss twins. Like, she's in it.
She is.
But like,
Sprouting
That's
romance
enough for
between the
you,
two?
Zaki.
put it
three?
on the
Between the
background.
three?
Let's not go there. All right, we've got another round going in. Owen, you got a minute. Pump it or dump it.
Okay, so I mean, we're always talking about exchange hacks. I know that this is Jonas' favorite subject in the world, and he likes how much the Sphere talks about Bitcoin hacks. Just kidding, not really. But I mean, it's something that's a major talk of discussion.
Yes.
Illicit activities within the crypto sphere are all the rage in headlines. But there is some self-regulation going on in the
Hints of
sphere.
it, right?
I mean, last week we had that whole, and this is kind of what I'm referring to, Coinbase and Kraken and Circle kind of
The CRC, right?
deciding themselves what is a security and what is not, so that people know when to list on exchanges or what cannot be listed on exchanges. This is like just it's like a 1 to 5 scale. 5 means absolutely a security. So like XRP, that is now with issues with the SEC, they got like a 4 or like a 4.5 or
just
something
shy
like that.
of 5, yeah.
And Bitcoin, which the SEC has said is not a security, is like received a 1. And they're doing this themselves now, just kind of showing that we're resilient and people in the sphere are doing things and we're making things happen, even though regulators aren't necessarily doing it. So improvements, guys, not this bad stuff.
Resilient or impatient? I mean, is this, is this the industry acting on its own? And just to remind us, it's U.S.-based
US-based, correct, right.
exchanges so far, acting on their own just because regulators are helpless or too slow or what?
I agree with Iran wholeheartedly on this. I think this is about exchanges, it's about the cryptosphere taking control of their own narrative in the mainstream. For so long, everyone's been sitting around, particularly in the US, waiting for regulators to respond. What are regulators going to say? What are regulators going to do this? But then you saw with things like even the Bitwise report from earlier in the year about the wash trading, and then now these guys coming out actually pointing to the genuine foibles and flaws in the industry and saying, hey, we need to fix this and regulate it. Taking control of the narrative is such a powerful play.
But also, it's smart if you consider the fact that the SEC might now be seeing how they're doing this and being like, oh, look,
could
they
just copy
just
that.
have
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
This
Maybe
is
we do
like
something
a
like that.
piece
It's been
of-
working for
This
them.
is like a vigilante justice piece. Couldn't wait long enough for the regulators to do it, so we're gonna do it ourselves.
And regulators, we like what we built. You should do it for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's good stuff,
but
man.
that's what like Standards and Poor's and Moody's, the two big
how they
rating
started off.
agencies, like that control so much of the way the market, views equities and the way that equities
We're
are treated.
self-imposed.
You don't trust them. You don't
They're
trust
private.
them.
They're
They-
privately
They were
run.
part of the problem that caused the 2008 collapse.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
it's,
are. They are.
can't-
I'm not saying I trust them either, but if I want to take over the industry, then
Yeah, so how can you trust then Coinbase Circle, these people, or
I
Kraken?
don't trust them as
They're
far as
just replacing.
I don't trust them as far as I can throw them, but they might change the standards for the industry, and we should be talking about it. Foibles.
Foibles.
What's foibles mean?
Foibles, like flaws.
All right.
Problems.
Foibles?
It's a great word.
Foibles.
The way you say
Fantastic
it
word.
sounds like a name of a mouse in a Disney movie.
Foible goes west. All right.
Exactly. All right, and to finish off today's pump or dump, Yona, give us something to pump or something to dump. Take it away a minute from now.
Okay, a lot has been said about Bitcoin's price drop. Right now it's sitting about $8,000. I mean, it's tough. It's bad news.
Better than Doge.
It's better than Doge. It's better than most. But I mean, listen, I like to provide some good news to people and to cheer them up in these tough times. So let's shift over to a story talking about hacks. ENS, or the Ethereum naming service, as the cool kids call it, which is a decentralized domain, kind of like .com or .org. There's .eth. And so they kind of auction off domain names, and recently hackers actually kind of worked the system, and they kind of stole 17 domain names. They won by paying a lower bid, whatever. Not getting into technicalities, but they stole 17 names, good names, including apple.eth, with if ever .eth becomes a thing, that'll become valuable. And so OpenSea actually made a deal with them. You give us back the domain names, we'll give you 25% of the proceeds from the auctions, and they did it. And so this is a win for .eth if anyone uses that.
Maybe in the future.
Did they get Pornhub?
Pornhub.eth, no, they didn't. But you know what? Maybe we should bet on
Guys,
this.
make it happen.
Wait, stop
we-
telling
no,
me.
no,
that.
No, don't do it.
Stop telling me good ideas.
Don't do it. We're gonna do it.
Yeah, we'll still.
I mean, I don't know who
Pornhub.eth.
uses these domains, but
Go
apparently,
check it out.
Check it
They're
out.
valuable.
apparently, a coffee shop.eth is worth $17,000.
Wow.
And so who knows?
Easy workaround.
I'm
Coffee
in the
shop.
wrong business.
SHOPPE. Done.
Wow.
You know what?
Coffee shop.
Why are we buying up all the domain
Yeah,
names now? You should be
buying
honest.
Ethereum domains.
But on the serious side, is this not giving into blackmail or
Well, actually,
stuff?
they're calling it, the OpenSea called, the people who paid it, they said they're considering it a bounty bug program. These hackers, they found a bug and were really rewarding them
That's
for finding the bug.
Right,
I mean,
right.
That
That's
is
good
some
PR.
quality
Yes,
brand.
yes.
Classy.
I'm onto this story
yeah,
just because of
that's
that
a
fact. You should have led with
This
that.
reminds a story when a couple of years ago, kidnappers found a bug in my home security and kidnapped my daughter, and I rewarded them back for finding the bug in my windows.
Wow.
A good spin, what you call it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Good job.
Bounty
Can we
bug
get them on the
programs.
horn? Let's get them on the horn.
OpenSea, we'll call them up.
Yeah.
All right, excellent stuff all around. Definitely some narratives that need to be replaced. And thank you, folks, for producing or providing the new ones. For those of you at home, if you have any thoughts about this, send us in responses on Twitter, on Instagram, all those wonderful social medias. We'll be checking them. And don't go anywhere, because we're going to be right back with more blockchain and cryptocurrency news.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter.